it was surreal to be able to watch it with my family dahil syempre nakita nila kung paano ako nagsimula. From doing school plays and all that. It was nice to feel the support from my family, to see that they're um from the start na nagsisimula ako, and then to now na nasa TV na ako, national TV. It feels good. And lahat parang dream come true, syempre.
Right.
And I never thought that I would come to this point na, to be able to do a project like this. A lot of people have said a lot of things na you won't make it in the Philippines, you won't be as good as your dad. And so a lot of negative comments have affected me throughout my life. But to be able to do something like this, it feels good to be doing it not just for myself, but to be doing it for my family, for my dad, for my parents. And I'm just proud to be representing the Philippines, of course. I mean, you guys will find out eventually with the show that I'm adopted from the Philippines, and that itself to me means a lot. Audition ko pa lang when I did my first callback, and nasa Zoom kami noon, tas mga kasama ko, hindi na mga Pinoy yung kasama ko sa Zoom. Sabi ko, nakakatakot pala kasi nasanay na ako na mga Pinoy yung kaharap ko sa Zoom, na if I mess up, kunyari nag-English ako, if I mess up, kaya ako mag-Tagalog or something. Pero ngayon, parang kailangan ko na step up, and I have to really do it on my own in a way.
Right.
And dun pa lang sa point na yon, actually, when I first moved to Atlanta, nung una pa lang akong lumipat dito, I was scared for myself. Nasabi ko, kaya ko ba to? Kaya ko ba yung hinaharap ko, yung gagawin ko? Siyempre sa Pilipinas, nandun yung suporta ng mga kasama ko, my management, and everyone, my dad. But then all of a sudden, coming into this project, it was like starting from ground zero. It was starting like it was scary, of course, and I was scared for myself. But it feels good na, in a way, kaya kong mas i-show you kung anong kaya kong ibigay po. It makes me feel proud that I'm able to, do a project like this, to be able to do a project wherein I can showcase my own personality, my own talents. Tinanong ako dati na paano ako nakaka-relate sa character ko. I feel like with coming into this project, I could relate to Ace, wherein I came into this project, coming from the Philippines, and all of a sudden I'm working with Susan Saran, and I'm working with Anna Frio. There was a lot of moments wherein I questioned, kaya ko ba to? Kaya ko ba yung gagawin ko? And just like Ace, being an adopted son from the Philippines, I felt like we face the same problems of, struggling with how are we gonna showcase, or how are we gonna show who we truly are with these people. Paano natin malulugar yung sarili natin with these people. And I never thought in my life that I would ever be in a show with this cast.
Right.
One was moving to the Philippines, wherein all of a sudden I'm Piolo's son. All of a sudden I have to be this actor that I had no training whatsoever. I lived a normal childhood in America. And I felt like all my life I've always had to be challenged with that. Na parang paano ko ba mailulugar yung sarili ko sa posisyon ko? And that's all. I think a lot of times people don't understand that I've had to live with that all my life. Na parang akala nila expected na porket anak ka ni Piolo, expected na alam mo na dapat yung kailangan mong gawin. And a lot of times I have to learn through the experiences that I go through. I'm not sure if I'm able to answer the question properly, pero feeling ko Inigo has gone through a lot of what Ace is gonna be going through.
Right.
My co-stars, Joshua Sass, he's been to the Philippines. Meron siyang kaklase dati. He's from England originally, and he had a classmate who was Filipino who brought him to the Philippines. And one of our taping days, sabi niya sa akin, there's this Filipino dish, a breakfast dish that he remembers from the Philippines. Sabi niya, matamis daw, pork. Sabi ko, alam ko na yun, tosino yun. So I actually brought tosilog. Sabi ko, mami, lutuan mo nga ng tosilog yung isang classmate ko. I brought tosilog to set. And then, si Josh naman, sabi niya, Inigo's mom is a chef. So si mami, na-pressure si mami, sabi, hindi ako chef, nilutuan mo lang siya ng tosilog. As much as possible, I tried to bring as much, of the Filipino culture Every time I went to set, whether off and on cam. Um, I guess with the show, I've spoken to the writer a couple times, and I wanna, hopefully, if we get season two, I'm claiming it that I'm able to bring more of the Filipino culture, and di ko alam kung pwede ba sabihin pero we want to explore more of the Filipino side of Ace, and him wanting to discover more of his roots, of his bloodline in the second season. I've felt it for the past couple of years. I mean, with with all these artists such as Olivia Rodrigo. I mean, Bruno Mars has been around for the longest time, but it feels nice. It feels nice that with the acceptance of just variety of ethnicities in the states. Miss Marvel is Pakistani. I feel like now you're not limited to a certain stereotype anymore, no matter what your race is, and it feels good to be able to represent where you come from. And I feel like we're living in times wherein, because of technology, because of, I guess, in a way, the pandemic, it's more open globally to represent where you come from, and it's not limited anymore based on um, whatever background you have, and it feels good. It feels good. I feel like, honestly, um, in a way, I mean, not saying that the pandemic has been good, but in a way, I probably wouldn't have been accepted in this project without the pandemic, because self tapes happened because of the pandemic, and
You're doing
I landed this role through a self tape. Audition pa lang po, actually kinabahan na ako. Like what I said on my Instagram caption, um, I was 2 weeks late for the self tapes, kasi hindi ko talaga kinonsider na gagawin ko yung project, kasi sabi ko marami namang batang artista sa Amerika na mas deserving doon sa role na yun. Sabi ko, I'm not gonna get it. This was my third time. Actually, yung Monarch was the third project na sinend sa akin ng agent ko. And Monarch was the very first one that I submitted a self-tape to. And my reason to that was because I simply just thought that I was not good enough for a Hollywood project. And the transition, first week pa lang, nung sa audition ko, actually, hindi ko ginawa yung accent. Sabi ko, hindi ko kaya kasi natatawa ako. Sabi ko, magmumukha lang akong ewan kung masyado akong, if I try too hard. So I just did it. And then as soon as I moved to Atlanta, they had a coach for me, a dialect coach who trained me before taping. And even on set, bago kami sumalang sa set mismo, pupuntahan ka ng dialect coach, kakausapin ka, basta you guys will throw lines to each other, just so that you feel comfortable about with the lines that you're saying during the scenes. But singing country music was honestly one of the biggest challenges that I had to face with this project. Ang daming beses ko na tinatanong ko sa sarili ko na marunong ba talaga ako kumanta? Kasi imagine coming from a pop R&B singer, and then all of a sudden you have to forget your knowledge about that, to completely breaking that knowledge, and then starting a whole new genre. And daming beses na sasabihin sa'yo sa recording booth, can you sing this, and then can you make it sound like this? Sa utak ko, anong difference? Hindi ko maintindihan ano ba yung sinasabi mong mali na ginagawa ko versus ano ba yung kailangan kong gawin. So ang daming beses na tinatanong ko, hindi ba ako marunong kumanta? Hindi ba ako marunong makinig ng anong maling ginagawa ko? So there was a lot of things that I was questioning about my abilities. And I felt like this project really helped me hear better. I guess I'm just grateful, syempre, sa lahat ng blessings na dumadating, and there's been a lot of good things that's been happening with my life. A lot of things that I never would have expected to happen at this age. And siguro may hingi ko lang is syempre more success in my career, and that this project will not only bring success to me, but also will open doors for more artists in the Philippines to be able to cross over, to be able to share what we have in the Philippines to the world stage. I want to be able to share my music internationally. Sana po mas maraming makinig anong meron sa Pilipinas. Kung kaya ng K-pop, kaya ng Spanish music. I always say this. Sir MJ knows that every time I'm asked that question, I want to be able to share what we have in the Philippines to the global stage.
Alright, thank you, Inigo. Ang next natin ay mula kay Alan Sancon at ako magbabasa ng question ni Alan. Ang first question niya is talagang nakafocus na yung career mo sa music, no? Na-miss mo rin bang umarte? Yan na ba talaga ang goal sa career? Okay, Alan, with your indulgence, no? Parang dito sa Monarch, you sing and you act. Tama, Inigo?
Opo.
Alright. So yung question mo, Alan, nakafocus sa career sa music. Siguro, tulungan ko na lang si Alan sa question niya, no? Baka meron din bang plans to explore music in the US, Inigo?
I feel like with this project, it was very perfect. Sobrang mas nagkaroon ako motivation to accept, and not to accept, but to audition for it, rather. Kasi I was able to not just act, but also to showcase my ability in singing. And just like our fellow Filipina, Olivia Rodrigo, I wanted to be able to expand my audience through a series.
Right.
And with this show, I claim and I hope that I'm able to really expand my reach to a point where I can independently release my music outside of the project.
Right.
And sana mas makagawa pa ako ng music out of the country, out of the Philippines, but also in a way bringing my country with me. And I feel like it's a perfect platform to be able to showcase both acting and
Right.
singing.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that I'm leaving one over the other. I feel like in a way this is a perfect project to be able to showcase both.
Hindi, saka with your previous record with Tarshier, I think you collaborated with
Exactly. I was
Grammy Award-winning producer, right?
Yes, I was actually talking to my managers before I got accepted for this project that it was kind of almost like perfect timing that I was able to release an all English album before I auditioned for this, because in a way it becomes like a showcase that
Portfolio.
outside of Monarch, I do have my own personal music that I could have my American audience listen to, potentially, hopefully the global audience listen to. Na hindi lang ako si Ace Roman, na meron din akong sarili kong music, and that's what I hope with this project.
Nice, nice. Ang second question ni Alan, babasahin ko lang to, Inigo, ha, wag mo isisi sa akin to, ha.
Nako.
Bukod sa na-miss mo ang acting, na-miss mo rin bang magkaroon ng ka-love team? Kamusta kayo ni Harris? Posible bang
Actually,
makapagtrabaho kayo soon in the future?
I do have a love team actually in this project. I do have
I know,
Emma
yeah.
Malani, who plays as my girlfriend on this show, and actually working with her on this project, I was able to introduce her to a lot of the Filipino culture, including love teams.
Wow. Pinakita mo sa kanya yung mga love
Pinakita ko
teams.
sa kanya. A lot of it surprises me that American culture and other cultures are not as attached to love teams as they are in the Philippines. And it was nice to introduce that to her actually, kasi syempre sabi ko, with this project, with it being shown in the Philippines, you'll probably understand what a love team is, whether you like it or not. Sabi ko sa kanya, with the Filipino supporters, it will most likely be a thing. And off the bat, I just had to explain to her the pros and cons of it. I mean, a lot of it's hard to say, but like a lot of it can be negative and a lot of it can be positive.
Right. Double-edged sword.
Exactly. And I guess I wanted her to be aware of what could happen potentially with it. But I'm like like any other actor, like any other artist out there. We're grateful for whatever we're given. We're grateful for whatever project we're put in, and whatever happens, and whatever blossoms will blossom. And I guess let's break that stereotype.
Right.
Siyempre, I want to invite all of our kababayan, mga kapamilya natin, lahat ng mga Pinoy. I am very, very proud to share with you guys that Monarch will be airing in the Philippines on I Want TFC. Maraming salamat I Want TFC for making this happen on September 13, 9 a.m. And after this episode, it will be every Thursday, 9 a.m. And in America, it will be actually iba-iba
Every
siya kasi ang daming
Tuesday.
times
Every
actually.
Tuesday.
Yeah, every Tuesday siya.
Ah,
It just depends on whether you're on the East or the West Coast.
that's
So
right.
just follow Monarch on Fox for more details. But there are actually many ways to view it if you're in different countries. Since this is a show that showcases a lot of foreign actors, marami ring paraan na mapanood to. And this will be on Hulu in America. Once again, I Want TFC, September 13. And maraming salamat po, Sir. Thank you so much for making this happen, for this press con. Sa lahat po na nandito ngayong araw na to. Thank you so much for supporting me. This is history. We're gonna make this happen.